Settle up. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the High Quality Podcast, episode 7. We did it. It only took like 6 months, but we're finally back. We finally did it. And what better way to return than to have this awesome, exciting guest, NBG. Hello, NBG.
Hello. How are we all doing?
We're doing well. I honestly, I have to thank you because if you hadn't sent that message like a couple weeks ago when you were like, I found this podcast and it's cool and I want to do it, it probably would have been like another couple months before I started this back up again anyway.
I know, yeah. I just randomly stumbled on it. I was like, what? I didn't know this existed. This is cool as.
Yeah, and then when you said that, I was like, I don't know why I didn't ask you to be on this when I did it months ago. Because like you're someone that I've always wanted to talk to about this kind of stuff, and it just sort of was one of those things that like slipped my mind, and then I stopped doing it for half a year.
Yeah.
So
probably because like I haven't been doing anything for like years now, and everyone just assumes I'm dead or something.
Yeah, but that's like the people in your position are the people that I wanted to talk to the most, because you have all the perspective from all the stuff that happened like years ago. And I mean, no offense to what's going on right now, but like that's what I find really interesting, because all the stuff that was going on years ago is what made me get super passionate about the channel and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I wanted to start. So I mean, I put this. I don't know if you remember this, and maybe you do, but I don't know if you know like how significant it was to me. But you and I met. You were like, I don't think you were the first team member that I met. But we met the day after I joined Discord, like as a whole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I joined Discord like in the evening, and then the next day I met you, and we were talking in Maine on fan server.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sitting in a class, not paying attention because I was talking to you about how you ate Oreos.
Oh, this conversation.
Do you remember?
Oh my god. And everyone was like, yeah, go on.
This dude is like, I don't like Oreos. And I'm like, how do you not like Oreos? You're like, well, I tried to eat it and it like the top slipped off. So I just ate the top alone. And then I ate the cream, and then I ate the bottom. And it's like...
Dude, cringe. Because obviously I know how to eat an Oreo now. You don't eat it like that.
Have you... And you said that you didn't have it with any milk. Have you since had Oreos with milk? Has that happened?
It has not, but
what?
That is something to... Yeah, I know.
How?
I don't know. I just never thought about it, I suppose.
But you have since eaten Oreos.
I have eaten Oreos, and I've eaten them properly.
And what are your thoughts?
They are very nice. I love Oreos. To be honest, like, that way of eating Oreos, I picked that up from Family Guy. That's how they said you're supposed to eat it. And I used to watch heaps of Family Guy. I was like, oh, okay. But obviously not, because they don't taste very nice that way.
I really like that you got your Oreo eating method from Family Guy. That's very fitting. But yeah, I remember sitting in that class and I was talking to you about this. I was like, wow, this is it. Like I'm finally talking to Siva Gunner, and like this is how it's gonna be. And so I hold that memory very near and dear. Look back on that very fondly. So if anyone listening is curious, just go on the fan server and search Oreo from me and sort by oldest, and you'll find it. We had a good talk about that. But anyway, that all aside, I'm stoked. I'm so excited to hear you talk about this. So let's get right into it. So go through the basic questions that I love to start with every time. And that starts with you and video games. So tell me about you and and sort of how you got into video games, what sort of stuff you played growing up, and what you do now.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't grow up with like say GameCubes and Nintendos and stuff.
Hmm.
Like the first console I properly got onto was like the PlayStation 2,
Okay.
and most of the games I would play on that were like, so we had a couple old PS1 games, and we had some of the Metal Gear games as well. My dad used to play heaps of those, and like Gran Turismo 3 and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of like the basic range of games I would play when I was a kid. It's not a wide range, honestly.
Yeah. So like with those games, like would you describe yourself like a gamer as a kid? Like would you play them a lot, or were they just kind of like a hobby pastime that you did every now and again?
We did play them a lot, yeah. Like me and my sister used to actually play co-op together on most of those games.
Oh, that's nice. And so what about like going for like what kind of stuff do you play now?
Nowadays, mostly play like not the new COD, but like Modern Warfare,
Okay.
because it's like just a nice sort of casual game for me to play since I don't really have like much time to play new
Right.
games now.
Yeah. Dude, I feel
It's,
that. It's tough.
yeah, yeah. So it's either that or like the Master Chief Collection on like Steam or whatever.
Dude. But I have just recently begun back. We should play together sometime. I've just been recently getting like super back into Halo on PC.
Yes,
It's
I need
fun as
someone
hell.
to play like the campaign with. I love playing the campaigns.
It's interesting because Czar also really likes the campaigns. And like everybody I talk to is like, "Oh man, the Halo campaigns are so fun." But I've never like something for me, something about like FPS campaigns have never stood out to me. I don't know why. I just like I've never given them
Right.
like a proper shake.
I mean, I like them because, like, especially now, because like we grew up playing those games, and now it's a nice throwback, especially on PC.
Hmm.
Um, but I've always kind of liked the campaigns because like we'd always like talk about it with like friends in school and stuff, or friends you'd play co-op with on the campaigns.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've always kind of liked them.
that's actually like a big thing that I never really thought about. That I guess has kind of been lost, but I mean it's probably just because we're like adults now. But like that the factor of like playing a game and then like going to school and talking to your friends about it, like there was a magic there that's different from like playing a game and then talking in a Discord channel about it. There's a
Yeah,
because it's like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing a game and like I just like talk in a Discord channel like as I play it rather than like play it by myself and then like gather my thoughts and then go into school the next day. I'm like, oh, like I did this and this and this and
yeah, no, I get that. I always thought it was more fun as well.
yeah. Well, well, good. I mean, that's a good little preview. And I mean, I assume you must have played like a decent amount of Gary's mod at some point.
Oh man, yeah. I have like 2,500 hours on that game.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Most of that is like, yeah, it's most of that is from making videos on it though.
Right, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and those take a while. But like, I'm just trying to think when I got into that. Like years ago, I think. Probably
Mm,
when I was 15, 16 maybe, and I'm
mm,
like 23 now.
yeah.
So yeah, it was always like Garisma's always been like a really fun game for me. Like
Mhm.
you just download a bunch of add-ons, and me and my friend Josh, we just screw around and stuff.
In like the oh man, of course I'm not going to be able to remember it. There's that one map that like everybody goes to where you to just like screw around in, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's just like that big like thing in the middle surrounded by just like a bunch of flat grass.
I think it's just called GM Flatgrass.
That seems accurate to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Gary's mod is I don't know. I always felt like I never quite got it because it's at the like there's so much that you can do, but it's like not.
Yeah, I feel like that when I play Garry's Mod sometimes too, and I think the thing about it is like it's a game where you have to decide what to do in it. Like, there's no
Yeah.
objective or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas, most games have an objective, but this
Right.
one, you literally just make it up on your own.
Right. I mean, like, I must have put like at least like 10 or 15 hours into Gary's mod, just like literally fucking around until I learned about like the actual game modes and stuff that it has, like TTT and murder and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too. Like, when I first got into it, like, I watched a couple videos and stuff. I was like, why doesn't Gary's mod have any of these things? And like, why is there an error everywhere?
There really are errors fucking everywhere in that game if you don't have the right stuff, and it makes it like.
I know.
Oh man, I did buy like Counter-Strike Source just so that I could like fix those errors, even though I know there's ways like to just get it offline. I like didn't want to deal with it, but
Yeah, I did the same. I ended up buying like the orange box, I think, just to get all those texture packs.
Right. Oh man, yeah. No, Gary's mod's pretty cool. So, all right. So pivoting over to the other side, what about music? So like, let's start with like what kind of music you listen to.
I listen to a lot of music. I've gone through like I think the earliest like memorable stage of music was probably like when I was 12 or 13. That was when I was getting into like that whole dubstep era of music. Which is like, I don't even listen to dubstep anymore, or like hardly. And it's like, I was so into it back then. And that's, how I got into like listening to heaps and heaps of Skrillex and, other people like, Excision, Datsik, or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of how I got into like music at first.
Yeah. I mean, it really was like you said you were like 12 or 13, so I was like 11 or 12, and like that era really was like there was just so much dubstep. It was everywhere.
I know.
And like it was like actually like last week, I decided to, instead of just like listening to my Spotify, I went back and I listened to all the music I used to listen to like in middle school and early high school. And I mean, I had like 10 remixes of Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, and then like every other Skrillex song under the song. I was like, I listened to this shit constantly. I don't know how I like had that
Me
much.
too.
It's like if I listen to that now, like if I listen to nothing but dubstep now, it's just like overload for my brain. But I used to just loop that shit.
Yeah, like I at one point ended up just getting the whole Skrillex discography, and I would just listen to that all the time. And then that's I would get into other people like Excision and stuff, and I would just play that stuff like really loud as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Like in the house, and everyone's like, you turn it down.
I remember I used to listen to dubstep while playing while playing Halo. And I remember very clearly my sister like came into the room once while that was happening, and she was like, "Why are you listening to this? It sounds like a garbage disposal." And
Oh.
and from that point on, I was like, I always felt like a little self-conscious about dubstep, and I think that's what like kickstarted me like moving on from it. But
yeah, it's funny because like when I first heard Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, I actually cringed at the sound. I hated it. It was shown to me by a friend, and then I don't even know how I got back into listening to it. I was like, this sounds really good.
Yeah, it's weird because I think I had a very similar experience where like it does initially sound like grating, and it's like this isn't pleasant to me. But then like it settles in a little bit, and you're like, wait a second, shit bang.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
Oh man. And so I mean, I assume now at this point you've graduated from dubstep, or do you still listen to it from time to time?
I throw back from time to time. I don't really listen to new dubstep. I don't even know if people still make that anymore.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I don't know if new dubstep is really a thing.
I think some of them still do. Like, I'm still holding out for a new Skrillex album, but I don't really think people really listen to that anymore, or really make it. Or if they
Hmm.
do, it's like, slightly different. It's like a mix or something.
Right. It's really a lot more just like I feel like most of that scene has moved more towards like house music than more towards like dubsteppy stuff. Like I like house music is all over the place now.
And I think like future funk is like the new thing
Oh
that's popping up
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Although I love future funk, so
So do I.
um do you have any particular like artists that you're vibing with right now?
Phil Collins, I
Phil?
am really like,
Isn't that
he's
what
from
is
like that. He's like an '80s
Yeah,
person.
yeah, okay.
So yeah, going back a bit, but like I heard like that song from GTA 5 by him. That's in one of the cutscenes, I think, when Michael's like sitting out on the thing, and then I was like,
In the air tonight. Oh no, that's in Vice City
nah,
apparently.
it's Don't Care Anymore, I think.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, so I was
Oh, I
like,
know that
I
song.
wonder what other music he makes. So I like started going through, that album where that song came from, and then a couple more, and I was like, wow, I liking like it's one of those artists for me, right, where you just like every single song that you're
Mhm.
hearing,
Mhm.
you know. So I've been listening to heaps of that, and what else? Uh, hmm. I'm just looking at my Spotify library now, and
Yeah.
it's mostly that, and like I've been like sort of getting back into pop a little bit as well. Like I stopped listening to the radio, like that
Yeah.
kind of music.
Yeah.
So I've been sort of listening to a bit more of that.
Okay. Anything in
And
particular or just in general?
um, I don't know if this might sound funny to people. Doja Cat,
Really? Okay.
yeah, Doja Cat. There's like a local artist. I don't know if you've heard music from them. Benny,
How do you spell that?
BENEE,
Double
double E.
Benny.
Yeah.
I've not
It's,
heard of
it's
Benny.
it's like a local artist. I don't think
Mhm.
you'd probably heard of it, but mm, not really new music, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like I throw back cause every now and again because I have like quite a huge library. So I've been listening to like Linkin Park and stuff again, and
Mm.
Breaking Benjamin.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, actually, I've been listening to heaps and heaps of Queen actually lately as well.
Really?
Yeah,
I
lots and
love
lots of
Queen.
Queen.
I love Queen a lot.
Yeah, after that movie came out, Bohemian Rhapsody, I
Mhm.
started sort of like getting back into like Queen music.
Mhm.
And I went through a lot of their albums and stuff, and most of their music is like really good.
Yeah. Queen is one of those groups where, and honestly, I think it probably applies to Phil Collins for me as well, where like I know the songs that like everybody knows. And I know those
Yeah,
songs like pretty well, and I really like those songs, but I've never taken the time to actually go like explore the more, you know, under
yeah,
under not underrated, but like less talked about songs of theirs, and I've always really wanted to.
yeah. That's sort of how I approach music in general.
Mhm.
Just like explore, people's backlog and stuff. Because even like I've been listening to Genesis as well, if you know that band.
I don't, but let me
So
see.
that was like Phil Collins's other band that he worked on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I like sort of dive into like artists, whole catalog and stuff
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah. That's I mean, and that's like going back to what you said about like you and Phil Collins, like when you get that experience of like coming across an artist and you're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then you like listen to more of their music and it just like consistently hits and hits and hits and you're just like, "Man, this is so good." I mean, that's such a good experience and it's one that's kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, yeah, it is a rare thing to come across, and Phil Collins is like the latest thing for me. So that I've just been jamming his music heaps, and like actually, the end of the year Spotify thing that's
The
come out.
Wrapped, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like all like I think I had like 100,000 minutes on like
Holy
mostly
shit.
because yeah, I play a lot of music and I play it like in the background and stuff, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the top songs are like Phil Collins songs. I'm just like,
Oh
wow.
man. I I currently wear a badge of pride because this year, for the third year in a row, Toby Fox has made it into my top 5 artists of the year. So
Hey.
I I'm like, the year that Toby Fox is not in my top 5 artists on Spotify is probably the year that I die. Because I listen to his soundtracks excessively.
He is a very good artist, honestly.
It's insane. I have a friend who actually just played through Undertale for the first time. He just did neutral pacifist and he's currently doing
Oh,
genocide.
yeah?
But he texted me. He was like, "Hey, should I play this game?" And I was like, "Well, it depends. What do you know about it?" He's like, "I know that Sans is a meme, and I've heard Megalovania and nothing else." I was like, "Oh yeah, like go play it right now." Like it's rare to find someone who doesn't know anything else about Undertale. Um,
I mean, I almost didn't play Undertale because, like, I don't know if you remember, I was not really a big fan of it when it was kind of popular, but literally the only reason I didn't like it was because it was popular.
mm-hmm.
I got into it, and it's a really good game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it turns out, right? Like little known fact, Undertale is kind of sick. Um,
Who would have thought?
um, but yeah, he texted me. Well, first of all, like when you having said that, that did trigger something in my brain. I feel like I do remember. I don't know where or how or why, but I do remember there being like discourse about you not liking Undertale. I think it may have shown
I
in
know.
like
I
some
think I know
rips
what
or
it is.
something.
I think it's because like I had a thing where I didn't really like Undertale mashups because they were like the easy thing to do, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the most popular thing, so everybody would do it,
Yeah, yeah.
But now I don't care. I love Undertale music.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, he texted me and he was like, "Favorite song in Undertale, go." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like you can't that's a question that you can't just ask somebody because
Yeah.
like all the songs are so good." So I ended up sending him like a list of 20 songs. I was like, I don't think I could put one of these above another.
Yeah, I'm just thinking right now, and I can't even like nothing, not one song springs to mind.
Right. Exactly. Like a handful of songs do or like like multiple songs, but not
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
other games if you ask me like what's your favorite song from like I don't know Mario Galaxy, I'd probably be like Gussie Garden, because that one is insane. But
If I did have to
anyway,
pick one though, it would
yeah,
probably be Death by Glamour.
that is what I'm glad you said that because that's what I immediately responded. I was like, oh, Death by Glamour, and then I took it back and I was like, I can't actually say that, but Death by Glamour is by far the one I go back to most.
Yeah.
God, that song is so good.
I love it. I love the progression and stuff in it. It's
Yeah,
really good.
it really worked. Um, but anyway, so all right, so we got the gamer, we got the music. Now how did tell me your story. How did because you were one of the first guys involved with Siva. So how did you get involved with it? How did you be a part of its sort of rising
Right,
up?
yeah. I was one of the early guys, eh? Um, I guess like I think you've talked about it with a couple other guys on the podcast. Like,
Hmm.
the whole Seva thing was conceived in like a Discord server called Gangnam Goons.
Right, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but the way like I got into that was like I was just invited by Cryptrick, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we used to talk a little bit, I think, to each other, and he invited me to the Gangnam Goons server, and like Seva wasn't really a thing there. Like I was doing sound clowns and stuff, which is why
Right.
I got invited. But
Hmm.
we would just talk about whatever mashups we were doing, or whatever, just like how we do in main chat or whatever now.
Hmm.
So I stuck around in there for a while, and then like I don't even think Chase was in there when I was in Gangnam Goons because I was like one of the earlier people to get invited, I suppose.
Hmm.
But after a couple of months or whatever, um, Chase just ended up coming up with this hilarious idea to create a channel, where you put the song of a game and then magically turn it into something else, and
Never heard of that before.
No, it's like it's a brand new concept, eh? But like he was doing that, but he was like sort of doing that on his own, and he would post the videos and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's cool." And then more people thought, "Oh, this is cool. I will make some stuff too," because it's a cool idea.
It is, yeah.
And eventually, like it was like other people picked up on doing that before I did. I kind of just got into it because I felt like I was missing out.
I
You
don't
know?
blame you. Like it's to see all that going on around you, and also know that like you have the skills to be able to do that too. I absolutely would have jumped in on that.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how I got into it, I suppose.
Hmm.
And I just thought it was a cool idea as well. It like had potential. But yeah, so that we would submit our stuff for that, and I think Chase would just upload it on his own or whatever. But like, it got to this point where like there was so many of us in the server submitting stuff now, and like
Yeah.
we had no quality control or anything. We would literally just make whatever. It doesn't even have to be like on key or anything. It's just
Right.
like pumping out all this crap. But like it did get to this point where like Chase was like, okay, I might need help with this.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so at that point is when he, made his separate server for managing that sort of thing. And
Right.
like I think the first managers, like I wasn't one of the first three or anything, but like the first couple was like Chase, MTH, and Triple Q, and then
Right.
they still needed more to like cover the whole time zone difference thing because they can't upload all the time.
Hmm.
So uh, he invited a couple more. I think Zalable
Hmm.
was one of them, like me. But yeah, I was like, that's how I sort of got into it and became like one of the first few managers, I suppose, of Steve Gunner.
Right. Back in the I think 6 managers is a good amount.
Yeah, yeah. That meme gets thrown around a lot because how many? I go back into that backroom server every now and again, and it's like fucking what
It's a
100
lot.
managers now.
There's a lot of people in there. Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Do you by chance remember the first thing that you made?
For Steve Gunner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
I don't right now, but I'm just trying to bring up my like rips and
You
stuff.
you got your playlist. I'm sure.
Yeah. The first thing. I think I know what the first thing it was, or like one of the first things anyway.
Sure.
If you remember it, it was SpongeBob SquarePants movie Disco Star, maybe. That was probably what.
It doesn't come to my mind
Nah.
immediately.
Nah.
Let's
It was
see.
like not one of the most popular rips, I suppose. But it was just like a Skrillex thing. That's the earliest one that I can think of, anyway.
All right, so I mean that's perfect because this is like this is one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about because so when I was getting into Siva, not like getting into like being a part of it, but as a fan, there were like a very select few like names of people that I knew before I even like got on the Discord or like any of that stuff. So
Right.
obviously like Chase I knew, TuneLink I knew, Turtle I knew, but there was always this one like I guess not a phrase, but like there was this name, this like combination of words that like I always heard get thrown around. It was like NBG the sampling god or like sampling god NBG. And like on any rip that had like it was usually like any rip with like dubstep samples or something like that. Like I would go in the comments and be like, NBG, I know this is you, or like the sampling god is has
I
returned.
would see those comments, and you would be right, like pretty much 100% of the time.
So like just tell me about I mean I wrote down like a couple of ones that like I want to talk about in particular, but just as like a broad scope kind of thing, like why what compelled you to go for these like crazy rips where you just use samples and stuff like that over just like, more typical Siva fare of like melody swaps and mashups and stuff?
I just thought, because I used to actually experiment with that sort of thing independently anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really particularly upload it anywhere, I suppose, but like
Mm-hmm.
I used to just fiddle around in GarageBand and just like chop up samples and like try and see what I can make out of it. And I'd always like think,
Wait, sorry, in GarageBand?
yeah. When I
Wow.
started out, I had GarageBand.
That's big. I mean, as someone who also started on GarageBand, big respect.
Yeah. People give GarageBand a lot of crap, but it's actually a really good program.
It does work. It does work.
Yeah, you can put Chip the Ripper over something and it'll sync up properly.
Well, I made a couple GarageBand Chip the Ripper mashups back in the day that would beg to differ, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, and the ones that I did upload to like SoundCloud and stuff, some people would say, "Oh, that sounds really cool" and stuff. And I thought, oh, that would probably. And there's like a couple of game songs, like that particular one, Disco Star, or
Mhm.
any other ones I've done. They just sound, it's just perfect for that sort of like sampling, sort of, style of rip, I guess.
Mhm.
And like I would hear the songs, and I could like hear it in my head how I would, play around with those samples, and it just sounded really good. I was like, I got to make these things.
Wow. Yeah. And do you have this applies to both, any rips you may have made with samples or not. Do you have something that you made at least, just on the music side of rips that you've made, because of course there is the, the other family of stuff that we'll definitely get to.
Yeah.
But do you have a particular like music rip that you've worked on that you hold in high regard, or that as something like I really liked making this, or I'm really proud of this?
So with that style of rip, did you say?
Either that or not.
Hmm. There's a lot, honestly. There's quite a few that I would have to pick from. There's of course like the "We Are Number One" thing.
Right. Yeah.
That rip.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons that. And
Mhm.
but if I had to pick one, I'd honestly have a hard time doing it.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, as a big fan of yours, like I don't know if I could necessarily be like, man, this is like this is like his best. You know what? It's Undertale all over again. Like I can't. There's no one.
Yeah.
There's no one rip of yours that like I hold in higher regard. Although I will say, I don't know if I have said this before, either to you or anyone else in general. But your "We Are Number One" rip was the first Siva rip I ever heard.
It was?
Mm-hmm. Because
Wow.
and it was how I discovered the channel. So because obviously in that time "We Are Number One" was just blowing up, and
Yeah.
I had seen just some random "We Are Number One" meme, and I was like, what even is, like, where is this coming from? And I went on YouTube and I typed in "We Are Number One," and the first thing that came up was your "We Are Number One" rip, and I listened to it and I was like, whoa, this is sick. And now 3 years and some months later, here we are. Or no, 4 years, but yeah.
I know, right? And that rip surprises me, honestly. In my opinion, it's filled with a bunch of dead memes from like the montage parodies era and stuff. And I'm surprised that people were like still keen to listen to that, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
In what, 2016, 17,
Yeah.
when
No, 16, yeah.
that died in like 2012. But
But
I don't know.
I feel like that gave it like some of its magic. Like 'cause I feel like, and honestly, this is something that Siva still does pretty well today, where like it'll take stuff that people have long since like gotten over and like stopped caring about, and we'll bring it back and put it in a new context that's like equally enjoyable.
And
So, yeah.
I'm not like bragging about Siva, but like we've always been
You
like
should.
pretty good at that. I feel like we have some pretty talented like guys in the whole Rippers team that can, do some stuff like that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still personally have my own gripes about how everybody just decided that they were gonna make Big Chungus funny. I personally
Oh
wanted
my
that one to
god.
continue to just be dead, but they brought it back, and now everybody talks about it. But
I forgot about that, and like just hearing you say it, that name alone just makes me laugh.
it's it frustrates because it was a thing like 2 years ago or like 3 years ago, and then it
Yeah.
died, and then it came back a year later, and everybody like started anyway. But but yeah, man, that We Are Number One rip, like, a lot of like I know it wasn't like the first We Are Number One rip because that was like Nate Mango's Kirby one, but as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, like your We Are Number One rip is really what kicked the whole thing off. Like it's what everybody knows, and I mean, I'm sure if I go on YouTube right now and I just type in We Are Number One.
Yeah, I do like read the comments and stuff on that too, and everyone, says, this is the rip that helped, push We Are Number One to become the meme that it is and stuff.
Right, right. And the impact that had, like,
I know, and it's crazy to me because it's like I was just doing what I normally do, and like, I wasn't sure if that would pick up. Honestly, We Are Number
Mhm,
One as a meme because the whole thing with like Nape made the first one, but he
right,
never planned to like make it into a thing. It was
right.
just a melody that he liked, and he just decided to chuck it into a song. But like, I don't even know how I heard it. I think he must have posted it in the chat or something, and
Mhm.
then I heard it. I was like, "Where is this from? This sounds really good."
Yeah.
And like, Nape said that he just randomly heard it off like because he's into his like Snapchat memes, groups or whatever. I think he said he heard it from one of those. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I think he said it was from Lazy Town, so I ended up trying to find it. And then I thought it had potential.
Mhm.
Because the tune alone, I love it. It's a really good song
Yeah,
on its own.
it really is.
And then I just decided I'm gonna put a bunch of dead memes on the song and see how it goes.
It's so fascinating to me because I mean, like, there's no way that like you could have foreseen it, like, it taking off in the way that it did. But I mean,
Not
it
even
like it
close.
shook the internet. Like everybody knew about it.
I know, and like it couldn't have panned out better,
Uh
honestly.
huh.
Because at the time when like I uploaded it to my SoundCloud and then to Seaver, just as like it was uploaded to Seaver as kind of a joke, honestly, because like
Hmm.
there's obviously no Lazy Town video game, well,
Right.
not a proper one, and I don't know, yeah, I couldn't not have predicted that it would pick up the way it did, and I
Hmm.
think it picked up because like I think people had the same sort of thing I did. It's a good tune. It has potential. So everyone sort of like started chucking it into. Oh no, maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's just because I started making a bunch of weird number one stuff, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this is the thing now."
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I saw it as well. Like I saw that, and it was the first rip I'd seen on Tiva, so I was extremely confused. I remember like listening to it and pulling up a different tab and being like Lazy Town the video game, and then like nothing was coming up. I was like, what? Like what is this?
Yeah, see,
But it worked out, and I mean, it spawned just like endless memes, and it's like,
and some of the best memes, might I say?
yeah, no, 1,000%. Especially like, I mean, I still hold the opinion of like We Are Number One rips are my favorite on the channel. Like, especially if they're just the ones that take the stems and like make full covers of other songs.
Yeah, same.
Like,
I love
yeah,
them.
I love the instruments in that song, and I just love the way that like there's that one uh cover of Beautiful Girl by Sean Kingston with the We Are Number One stems. I think Night of Games made like just like stuff like that is like why does this exist? Why would this ever have existed? But it does, and it sounds so good.
I know, and like, yeah, people say that that my things like helped to become a meme and stuff, which is like still hard for me to imagine. It's
Yeah.
like how could it be me? You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, and the timing of that meme could not be better, honestly, because like when we started making it a thing on the channel,
Hmm.
it was like no one like had heard, or it hadn't even been announced yet that like Stefan Carl had
Right.
cancer or whatever.
Right.
But I remember hearing that from might have been Chase or something, I don't know, in
Hmm.
Backroom or something. And then I was like, because I liked this song so much at that point and had already done so much with it, I was like, oh my god,
Hmm.
we have to make this a meme, and we have to help this guy.
Yeah.
And it turned out exactly that way.
Yeah.
Everyone, and it's one of my favorite things about that meme in particular, and what's unique about it
Right.
is that it's the only one, to my knowledge, that everyone can sort of get on and enjoy, and not only that, it sort of helped, you know, Stefan out when he needed it.
Yeah. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it literally prolonged his life for a good bit, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah, by
Yeah.
at least 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's remarkable. So I mean, hats off to you for, I mean, making that you know to, uh, even if it the initial creation like wasn't with that goal in mind, like the fact that it got to that point, and then from then forward you were able to like do some actual good. I mean, that easily one of my favorite things to have come
Mm.
out as a consequence of the channel being a thing.
Well, thanks, man.
um but yeah, I mean, I also, I have to give explicit mention to I said that I couldn't pick like a favorite of yours, but like easily in my top five, maybe top three, is that Death Wish rip of from Excision's Heckin' Epic Safari. Um I
Really?
Yeah, I remember so that came out, I'm pretty sure, either February or March 2017, and it was so still before I had even like joined Discord. So I was still just a
Right,
fan, and I
yeah.
saw that like in my sub box, and I was like what the hell is this? Because the thumbnail art for that rip is so funny. Um and I listened to it and just like completely fell in love with it. I listened to it like constantly, and then I have this memory so clear in my head of in March of 2017, I went on a road trip just by myself to go visit some friends like around at like their different schools.
Right.
Um and so for that road trip, I downloaded like a bunch of music, and like a good amount of those songs were rips. And I remember I was like flying down a highway in like the middle of Vermont, and there were like no cars on the road. And I rolled down all my windows, and like how like if you roll your windows down on a highway, it's just like that like sound of like the wind. Um, and I put on that rip, and I turned the volume in my car like all the way up, and
Oh my god.
and just completely blasted that shit in the middle of like this beautiful Vermont nature. And I headbanged, and I mean, so
You
that
go.
so that rip is like, if I ever have just like an insane amount of energy, I like put that shit on, and I'm ready to rage. So I love that rip to death, and
Oh
I
wow.
had to tell you that.
Yeah, that's cool. No one's ever really told me that they like that rip.
It's so good. It's so good.
And actually, that style of rip is probably like one of my favorite ones to do,
Hmm.
because music like that, like, so that song doesn't have any stems available.
Right. Right.
So I have to like sift through it and like sample it out and try and make something out of it. And I did that with a lot with like the Payday 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to tell you before, like I didn't think of it at the time, but that set of rips is probably like my proudest ones because of that
Really?
reason. Yeah, because like it's a lot more challenging
Mm-hmm.
to try and make it sound like the original song without the stems. Like
Right.
some of the Payday 2 songs have stems, but like some of the other ones that I did don't have any stems.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway.
And then, I mean, I think it's because you do stuff like that that gives you that very, rightfully earned name of like sampling God. Because I think for me, right, like one of the things that I think is the best of Siva Gunner, and I think it's something that has been a little bit lost with time just because of how long it's been going. But whenever you listen to something and you get that feeling of just like how how is this possible? Like how did they do this?
Yeah.
Um and and your stuff in particular always gave that feeling of like I would listen to it and I'd be like, this is so good, and I have no idea how it was done. Um but it's interesting, for some reason, of all the like things that I associate with you in my head, the Payday rips aren't one of them. I don't know why.
Uh, uh, funny, like I would have thought the Payday 2 soundtrack would have been quite popular, but like the rips themselves don't actually have that many views on them.
Mhm.
But I don't know, just the way it is, I suppose.
Do you have a particular Payday rip that you did that you like?
Yeah. Um, Backstab because it's a rearrangement to sound like a Skrillex song, Bangarang,
Oh,
and
okay, hold on. I gotta pull this one up too. Backstab.
and as everyone knows, I'm quite a big fan of Ya Boy.
God damn, dude. These are so cool. It's weird that like even still, like having been a part of this kind of stuff for a while and like knowing how to do some of it, like every now and again I come across something like this and I'm just like, man, this shit's so cool.
That's kind of part of the reason I used to make those rips too, is because like it would make people go, "How did you even make this? There's no
Right.
stems."
Right, right. But of course, the your music contributions are really only like half the story here. Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I mean, you were pretty much solely responsible for all the Mr. Rental stuff, right?
Yeah, I pretty much did 99% of the Mr. Rental stuff.
Right.
Huh, that was a
So
funny period.
please tell me all about that, because it's another one of those things on the channel that like you know I obviously like I knew about it when I was watching through
Hmm.
everything, and I was really enjoying it, but I always like had that thing in the back of my mind. I was like what is this, and like what is it doing here?
Yeah, I'm just thinking back and going, huh, you know. But uh, the way that happened is just like I don't know. Like I used to like browse Facebook a lot at the time,
Hmm.
and like I did like Mr. Rental is like the last thing I would think of that would become a meme page because it's just a business here. So it's just a business in Australia or New Zealand where you just rent stuff. But like,
Okay.
but all of a sudden, like, I'm pretty sure they must have hired like a some team or something to manage their account and try and boost likes or whatever. So they started posting these memes that were like, it's funny because like businesses when they post memes, it's generally like not good. It's
Right.
normally terrible.
Yes.
But like they actually found a way to make it, this is actually pretty good because they would use
Really?
memes like that there's like that GIF or sorry, GIF, don't penalize me. Yeah,
Oh,
that good save, good save, good save. Uh of, Snoop Dogg doing that thing with his hand where he's twisting it and like
Yep.
they would make GIFs and stuff out of that. And, I was like, huh, this is actually pretty funny. But for some reason, I don't know, still don't really know why. I was like, I'm going to make a video about this man, and now it's all coming back to me.
Yes, good.
Yes. If you remember, I used to have a thing where I like didn't really like mashups at
Of
all.
course, ban all mashups.
Yes, that was my thing. And like I just I wanted to find a way to express that. So because obviously I can't stop people from making mashups. I'm not
Right,
that bad, but
right.
I'm still gonna try and find a way to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, one of the first Seva Direct streams, I think,
Mm-hmm.
um, they were setting it up and stuff, and like I just watched them doing it, and I just thought, in secret, I'm gonna make this really stupid Mr. Rental thing where he jumps out of a building and runs over mashups with his car or something. And it was supposed to be stupid, It was supposed
Yeah.
to be done in Microsoft Paint and all that sort of thing. That was not like chosen at the time. But that went on the stream, and then Chase let me upload it as just a rip on its own,
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of took off, I suppose, for some reason, because the videos don't really make that much sense.
They really don't. They're very confusing. It's like if you don't. Like I said, I always like I watched them and I was always thoroughly entertained, but I had no idea like what they were doing there.
Yeah. But like the reason I picked the Mr. Rental characters because of that Facebook page and how I was sort of getting into the memes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we uploaded it, and people were like commented saying, "Wow, the animation's really good." And I'm just like, "What are you talking about?" I just felt like making more and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course it didn't last very long. People were like, because our fans are into the lore and stuff.
That's
People
what I
were
was
like
gonna
going,
say. Yeah.
what's this all about? There's got to be some meaning for this. There's got to be some high, the deep meaning behind all of this, but there really wasn't.
I mean, even I like back in the day before I like joined the Discord and became for lack of a better term like red pilled. Like I would see stuff like that and I'd be like, oh what does this mean? Like are they gonna like what is this building to? Like what
I know, and it became one of the like running jokes in the comments section, right? Lore.
But it was really just you just needed an outlet to
To
express your
express.
distaste for mashups.
Yes, yeah.
And I remember like actually being not like intimidated or afraid, but always like a little weary when I interacted with you because I was like it's like man, I hope this guy like doesn't dislike me because when I was first starting out like mashups were all I did and so I didn't want
This guy hates mashups. Yeah. It was. I mean, I probably took it a bit too far, but it was always kind of like a half joke thing for me.
Yeah.
I would never like stop people from making them or anything. And if there was a
Mm.
good one, I would, go, oh, that's good.
Of course, yeah.
I just didn't like the ones that were like the ones that required pretty much no effort, which are like rap mashups, because all you do
Right.
is slap it on top and stuff.
Just slap
But
Chip the Ripper on top of a thing and make it match the tempo. Who would do that? That's
yeah, I know, right? That was like my thing, but
Mhm.
I got over that because it's
Yeah.
like if it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah. So you I mean the Mr. Rental stuff went for a while. But I remember and I probably should have done this research before we recorded this, but I didn't because I'm lazy. But I do remember I want to say it was around Christmas 2016. There was like a definitive like final Mr. Rental thing. And I remember you like talked in it. You talked about some stuff, right?
Oh yeah, the
So what
behind
was
the
that all
scenes
about?
video. Well, at that point, like, since we were like doing the whole wrapping up channel thing, the fake ending, haha, got you.
Right.
Um, we were making some videos to sort of like lead up to that, and sort of give people the impression that we actually were ending.
Mhm.
So I was going to make like a proper ending,
Mhm.
but at that point I just got tired of making those. They take way too long to make, and I have to like try and do it in like Adobe Premiere and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff you got to do to try and make it good. And I
Mhm.
just didn't want to put in the effort anymore. I just got tired of it. But people were looking for some closure in the whole,
Right.
the lore thing, which
Right.
is funny because there wasn't really any lore to begin with, so I had to kind of make it up. But yeah, um, I just made that video just to sort of like close it off, and like because there was also those Looney Tunes videos with Mr. Rental in it too,
I
and I
remember
would,
I was gonna ask you. I knew there was like I remembered in my head there was some kind of like 8-bit version of these things, and I wanted to ask you about those as well.
yeah, and like my main concern with like that behind the scenes video was just like, how do I make up a lie to convince these people that this is how this is meant to be? I managed to do it though, but
Hmm.
yeah.
So you really there was no like overarching plan with all the Mr. Rental stuff. You were just sort of goofing, and then when it
It's
came
yeah,
time to
it's
wrap
sort of
up,
just
you
a way to express things because like even like there was to do with mashups and stuff first, and then the last proper one was like that whole thing with Mr. Mango Head,
I remember that. Yeah.
and that was just a way to express well, all of us really do express how we just don't like him.
Man, I haven't thought about that name in a long time. What was like that was actually like before my time. What was his thing? Like why what did he do?
So when We're Number One was picking up as like a meme,
Mhm.
he was part of that whole set of video makers who would make those word replacement videos. The Nut Shack theme, but every time the Nut Shack is said, it's
Oh,
replaced with that sort of thing.
yeah, those were the worst.
Yeah, I hated those.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the back room hated it too.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I think we started that sort of thing in a way.
Right, but it wasn't like it wasn't so like on the nose. Like it always
Yeah,
bugged me when like the joke of the video was just like the title. Like you read the title, you knew what was going to happen, but you like click it anyway and go, "Ha
yeah. But he was like the main, or should I say, the worst one of the people who
ha."
made the We're Number One versions of that style of meme
Mhm.
because he would just like pump it out, pump it out, pump it out, pump it out, and he's just getting all these subscribers, and we're sitting here wondering how is this guy getting so many subscribers doing this,
Right.
and uh, people like what they like, I suppose, but like what
Mhm.
we didn't like about it was like he had set up like a Patreon and stuff for this. He was
Oh
trying to make
yeah.
money off these terrible videos that literally just recycle parts of the original video
Right.
and just chuck in bits of another one. But w- you know, you're not supposed to make money off that sort of thing. And
Right.
we sort of took offense to that because we're doing this thing with Siva, right? Where we're
Mhm.
pumping out all these rips and stuff from a bunch of different people, and it's an agreed upon thing from the start. We're not going to make money off this
Yeah.
because we don't deserve to make money off this.
Right.
So, we would get, a little bit offended when we see this sort of thing happening.
Mhm.
But more me mostly, because I can't speak for the rest of the people, but,
Right. Right. Did you know he still makes videos? I'm just looking at this now.
someone told me that the other day, and I was like, oh,
And he
I
still kind
thought
of he
he
kind of
was
pulls
gone.
views. Like they've all got like at least 100,000. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me, but like, I'm over that now. I'm just like,
Right.
oh, what? It's not worth, you know.
I also wanted to ask, and again, this is like research I probably should have done. Who was Mr. Own, and what was that about?
Uh, yeah. This falls into the whole making up a lie to try and, you know. So yeah, when I was trying to make that video or whatever, like there was no Mr. Own. There was no Mr. Own. There was never a Mr. Own. But like, I found out that there is like they had like a Mr. Own thing from the Mr. Rental company, and I was like,
Okay.
that is perfect for my lie. So I just pretend that there's two different characters. There's Mr. Rental and there's Mr. Own. And I just pretend that Mr. Own is. Hmm. I think I ended up saying that he was the one in the Microsoft Paint videos.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember actually.
Mr. Rental stands are in shambles right now. They are like,
Like my life is a lie.
yeah. Go the Siva wiki after this is gonna be like paragraphs long about how everything they thought they knew was a complete and utter sham.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm glad that we talked about this because I definitely had no idea. This whole time I always thought that like this was like something that like you had like put together and like you had like something you were trying to do with it, but no, you were which honestly is pretty fitting for Siva in the idea of like nope,
It
it
really
actually
is.
is just kind of like a shit post the whole time.
Yeah, and we've done that with heaps of stuff. People think it's gonna be this, but no. I mean, that's what the whole channel's about, really.
Right, right. Secretly, that's why the CCC is never going to actually end. But
Oh right, the
you know,
CCC.
yeah, it's still a
Let's
thing.
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk. We don't talk. But what we should talk about is honestly like some of my favorite content of yours, which are the Gmod rips. Specifically, I have to like,
Oh
I have to
right.
call attention. Idle Gary's mod is like without question my favorite rip on the channel that is not uh like an actual like song.
That is
Like
one of my favorite ones as well,
it's
actually.
it, it's so funny. Every time I watch it, I laugh. Every single time. It's so funny. But I mean,
Oh, that's good, man.
all the other Gary's mod rips that you've made, like the Mythbusters one is really good.
That's an
The
underrated one in my opinion.
I like that one a lot. Um, is and then there's I don't think the one that you did with Shonik is not the Mythbusters one, right?
Nah, that's not the. Well, funny thing about that is actually it's from the video that it was going to be a part of, but I got lazy and just decided to split it up.
Interesting.
Because what I was actually doing with those videos, I think, was I was trying to make my own CCC episode. Believe it or not, and
Okay.
I still have like I've filmed it all and stuff in Gary's mod. I have the project still, but like I just have to edit it, and like I just never got around to it.
Wait. There's you have more
I have a
Gmod.
whole CCC based episode with the voice and stuff on my
What?
hard drive.
What are you doing, dude? You're holding out.
I know, right?
Wow,
People are
I
gonna
had no
start.
idea.
Yeah, you're probably gonna bug me to finish it after
I
this. But
absolutely am because I mean I love those rips. I think they're all so good.
oh, that's great.
So in contrast to the Mr. Rental stuff, the Gmod stuff you actually did have a purpose with.
Did I have a purpose? I'm just trying to think. Well, with some of them, I think.
Hmm.
Um, I suppose like the good place to start would be the first one that I made,
Hmm.
which is like that whole thing with like Grove Street or whatever. They go out and ban a mashup, I suppose. That was like, yeah, again, it's like another way to sort of express that idea.
Right.
Um, but there was no like set thing, I suppose. It was just like whatever idea I thought of that I could make into a thing that would be, I suppose, cool or suitable for Siva. So like, yeah, that first one was just like about banning a mashup, and it doesn't really have to make sense or anything. That's what I've always liked about Gary's mod videos. You can just
Hmm.
make, we can just do whatever. Like the whole idea of some guys going to some other guy's house and killing him or whatever because he made a mashup.
Right.
That's a really stupid idea, but like the thing with Gary's mod videos, but like you could, it doesn't have to be a good idea.
Right.
And I've always liked that sort of. I've always loved Gary's mod videos. I
Hmm.
just wanted to make my own, really.
Yeah. like honestly, your Gary's Mod videos were the first exposure I had to that type. Like I'd never seen anything like that before.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, yeah. So, um, that that made me aware of like this whole other type of content. But um, so you were inspired by other types of like Gary's Mod content that spurred you to make your own.
Yes, I was heavily inspired by Kiddio 706
Okay.
and like Dasbo shit. Like he's the
Hmm.
guy that used to do like the Gmod Idiot Box, if you've ever heard of that.
I think yeah, I think I have.
It's one of the like OG Gary's Mod, videos from the time.
Hmm.
But it was mostly Kiddio 706. I loved his videos so much, and I just wanted to, you know, oh, not copy him, but make my own stuff.
Yeah.
He was just that funny.
I mean, I like I obviously hold a big amount of respect because I mean, especially over the past couple of years, like that type of content I feel has become a lot less prevalent on the channel when like you would just like see something like a Mr. Rental or like a Gary's Mod video. Um
Mm,
and it's definitely a lot more music focused, which I mean is definitely very good in its own right. But there's always something very special about like seeing something like that, something of yours pop up. Um it always felt like and of course, all the comments would just be like, "Oh my god, it's lore, it's lore." Um but yeah, so I mean, how many of those did you make? Like a decent number, right? Did you make
I was
all
just
the
looking
Gary's
at
Mod rips on Siva?
I made all of them except for one because one is
Mhm.
it's not actually a video. It's
Oh,
some
it's like an actual, yeah.
yeah. But there's only four of them, and yeah, I made all of them.
Do you have a particular favorite?
It's probably the same as yours, Idol,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that's like it's it's the way I wanted the voice to always be in the CCC,
Uh-huh.
you know, in some form or another, and it's
Right.
like, and it's kind of cool just to see him in like a 3D video format, not just in a storybook sort of thing,
Right.
and also just like that's the first, well, that's actually the first ever like music style animation I've ever done,
Mhm.
and it just turned out so well,
It
you know.
really it the way that like the like gunshots sync up with the music and the when he like gets the like cup of coffee and just like slams it in his face. Oh.
Yeah, and like I got the idea from that from when I was like going through my Queen phase of music, and
Uh-huh.
stumbled on that song, and I was like,
Mhm.
this would make a really good music video for the voice killing people.
Yep. It really like actually I had never heard that song before that rip. Um
It's an
but
underrated song.
it's a great song, but it works really really well in that context.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I kind of wanted to share it as well because I know
Mhm.
it's an underrated song, but it's like so good on its own as well.
Mhm. Yeah. It's short, which is weird.
Yeah, it's only like a minute or something.
Mhm. But yeah, I love the Gary's Mod stuff, and I can't believe that you have just like a bunch of it that is just like sitting unreleased on your hard drive. That makes me
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send you some screenshots or something maybe.
or you could just like
Or finish it.
make it, yeah.
I even got like Zalabul and some people to appear in it.
Oh my dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
It's
I
like,
mean,
what am I doing?
so why do you think you never got around to it? You just like fell out of working on Siva stuff?
It's like it takes a while to
Mhm. I'm
edit
sure.
those videos, and it's mostly like dragging. See, I got like 150 gigabytes of sound effects I got to sift through to try and you know,
Yeah.
and it's a you sit there for a while in front of the computer, and like you just sort of get to this point where you're just like, I don't really want to sit, and
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah,
So I
no,
sort of just like, backed away from it and never really got back into it.
mhm. Yeah. I mean I understand that. I'm giving you a slight hard time because I'm such a huge fan and it like hurts my soul
Oh, give
knowing
me a
that.
hard time because it might actually prompt me to finish it.
Well, hopefully anyone and everyone listening will leave a comment giving you an equally hard time. Hashtag NBG finish your Gary's mod videos.
Right, yes.
Um, but wow. Well, so there's only one other thing I had on here that I wanted to talk to you about, and honestly, we probably should have done it earlier because it would have made more sense because we talked a whole lot about We Are Number One. Um, but you were, I mean, from the Siva Gunner wiki, which I am inclined to believe is correct most of the time, you were also behind the Robbie's ice cream stand stuff, right?
I was the one who started that fake game, I suppose, on Seva.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we decided in Backroom that we weren't gonna post any more We Are Number One, the video game rips.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I think that was repealed pretty quickly
Yeah,
because I think we've
definitely.
made more since then. But yeah, we just decided to. Well, I still wanted to make We Are Number One rips, so I just decided I'm gonna make a fake game. And Waluigi's Taco Stand was a thing at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so I was just like, I'm just gonna make a game that's like the competitor. In what better way, just like it's just another game really to post We Are Number One rips.
Gotcha.
But I didn't make all of them. I think I only made 3 of them,
Right.
honestly.
What I'm really taking away from this podcast is that like there were so many things that you were involved with that when I was watching all this stuff on the channel, I was like, oh man, like what are they cooking up here? Like what's the meaning? What's the I wouldn't call myself like a lore boy back in the day, but I certainly like was invested, and I always thought that like if it wasn't just a regular run of the mill rip, there was like some deeper meaning, some deeper substance.
Yeah, and we sort of made it appear that way most of the time,
Right,
I think.
right.
So I kind of get that.
Which honestly
But
is good.
yeah,
You bait and switched me years later.
yeah, surprise.
Wow. Well, I mean that's pretty much all the main points that I really wanted to go through. Is there anything else um that you can think of as like something that was like special to you that you either made or like something that happened in your time on Siva that you want to share? Because I'd love to hear it.
Let me see. I can't really think of anything at the moment, but
Hmm.
like I thought this would be interesting to like mention, like when we were talking about like that excisions Heckin epic safari riff or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, we had a thing in Seva where we would not make fake games and like random video titles because
Hmm.
the whole point is to mislead people.
Right. Right.
So like I got away with like a lot of video titles on Seva because I don't know, I am who I am, I suppose.
Right.
Um, so titles like "We Are Number One," epic funny meme edition, super remastered, not gay, things like that. I was like one of the only few people that could get away with that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And other titles as well, like any rip that has that sort of title, like the main theme for Metal Gear Solid, super remastered, not gay.
And why did you what compelled you to make those titles?
There was actually reasons for those.
Hmm.
Like that We Are Number One, for example. I just saw, it's again like Mr. Mango Head and all these like terrible memes that are showing up, with We Are Number One. I'm just like, these are terrible, but I want to like try and make fun of it somehow, I suppose.
Hmm.
So I would just like that rip is like one of my favorite We Are Number One rips too, because it's just like this big mess of like stuff that doesn't make any sense at all, and the title is just it's supposed to like it's a stab at that whole sort of low effort, terrible meme sort of thing.
Right.
So that was that one, and then like that Metal Gear one, because there was there was actually an original rip for that theme that we had on the channel, but we ended up removing it because it just sounded terrible, and like I was like, we have to remaster this. We have to make things right. There is an imbalance in the mashup universe. So, I ended up making a different one and just like changing the title to that just to sort of address the fact that the last one was kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why like Backroom would let me get away with those video titles, because we were quite strict about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a couple moments, I suppose, where it was appropriate.
Right.
So I thought that might be interesting to mention. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like I think that after a certain point, right, like the jig was like half up. And like
Yeah.
if every once in a while, like if there was like something that was like a fake game or like had a weird title, like either the illusion was like already like ruined for people, so it didn't matter, or like the people for whom the illusion wasn't ruined, like it wouldn't have made a difference. So
yeah.
and honestly, like those titles in and of themselves were like a good joke, because you would see just like regular ass titles like main theme Ocarina of Time, like credits Mario 64, and then like your crazy titles. So
and it adds to the rip as well, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So those kind of things were very good in moderation, and I think I don't know. I agree with like that old mentality of like I personally am very anti like fake game. I don't like when like fake games come up on Siva, because I'm like kind of a, I don't know, traditionalist. Like I like Siva being what it is. But there have been like increasing number of times over the past couple years where like there will be like someone will like make a rip for a game that is like technically real but so obscure that like it might as well just be fake.
Yeah.
And so it gives the channel like, I don't know, a bit of a weird feel to me personally. But that compared to years ago when things were sort of by the book, and then just out of nowhere you get this like Excision's heckin' epic safari come up. It's like those little one-offs made it really special and enjoyable for me. Plus the rip is a banger, so
well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Sweet. Well, I mean, I think that does it for me, if that does it for you.
Yeah, that's about me.
All right, sounds good. Well, I mean, thank you so much for not only taking the time to hop on this and record this with me, but for inspiring me to get back on this anyway, because I let this slip through the cracks for way too long, and just thinking about recording this with you and putting it together has gotten me excited about making this again and working on it again. So really, I'm very appreciative for that.
Oh, no worries. Like I've been pretty excited to do this, honestly. I'm having a lot of fun right now.
And I mean, it's I honestly, like, I don't, I mean, I do know why I took my break back a couple months ago, but I don't know why I got back on, I don't know why I didn't get back on this sooner, because it really is so much fun to hear about like everyone's experiences with this channel, because even though like everyone's worked on similar stuff, everybody has their own experience and their own story to tell, and I love hearing about it, and apparently people like talking about it, so it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, that will do it for episode 7. I can't believe we got through this entire episode and I didn't make a single joke about how it's the 7th episode. But that probably for the better.
Yeah, that joke's long gone now.
thank you everyone for listening. Sorry I was gone for so long, but hopefully I'll be back. I'm not gonna make any sort of promises in regards to a schedule because every time I do that I break it. But expect more episodes sometime soon. Go check out NBG. NBG, where can people find you on like social media and stuff if you have stuff that you want to plug?
I don't really use social media these days, honestly.
Fair enough.
But if you want to check out anything I make, it'll probably be on my YouTube channel, NBG Videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't post stuff on SoundCloud anymore because I actually reached the limit on that website, so that's why I
Really?
stopped making stuff. Yeah,
God damn, dude, you went hard.
yeah, too many memes.
Too many memes. Well, I can I'll drop the link to your SoundCloud in the description if you want to go check out some of his old legacy content.
Yes.
But sweet. All right. I feel like I already said all my ending stuff. So that's that. Thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your day or evening or whatever time it is when you listen to this. Bye.